welcome to another episode of Bold and Beautiful. I am so honored to have one of my closest friends here with me, Adrienne Ross from the Adrienne Ross Show. And if you have not caught her second channel, Adrienne Ross Squared, squaring off from A to
A
Z.
to Z.
A to Z. So glad to have you. Thank you. Wait, y'all, listen. She is so busy. I have to give her like several days. Okay. What are these blocks of time? Because she's all over the country. She's traveling, she's speaking, she's squaring off from A to Z on all kinds of things, nuts to bolts. And then of course her sports channel, which is phenomenal. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you do that. Basketball is her game. So Adrienne, welcome.
Thank you so much, kids. So, first of all, you just cracked me up. It's just the Adrienne Ross Show.
I
Yes,
mean,
the Adrienne Ross Show. Thank you. I'm honored that you would have me on your show.
yeah, well, there's always so much to talk about. And I've been meaning to have you on for a while, but again, just trying to fit in with your schedule. And I've been pretty busy and et cetera. But it's the end of Women's History Month, and I'm like, oh, this is a great time. And
Mhm.
look, y'all, listen. She said she wasn't sure if she could fit it in before the end of March, and I'm like, I got a couple days left. And I said, you know what? We could go on into April and talk about Easter and Mary and the mother of Jesus. I mean, there's so much we can talk about always.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you made it. Want to just a quick conversation really about the important women. I think it's important to celebrate the women in our lives, women who've made us great, women who make all of us great. I mean, if you were alive, you came through a woman. Okay, so obviously men have something to do with that, obviously, but we're celebrating women at the moment, and just really talking about our families, our mothers, grandmothers, aunts, just people that have been instrumental in our lives, whether it's teachers or spokespeople, just even some women over the years of history. I can think of something that stands out in my mind as just being a phenomenal woman is Maya Angelou, of course, but not her. I was going to talk about Sojourner Truth. I mean, thinking about in her day, in the 1800s, where she stands up, in front of all these men, white men, to be exact, and say, look, don't we have a place?
Yeah.
Forget about being black or white, any of that. But don't women have a place? And that has always stood out to me as being so phenomenal, just having the courage and the passion to say, this is logical.
hmm
This
Yeah.
is logical.
It
Go
just
ahead.
makes sense,
It
right?
just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such talking about being ahead of her time and being able to see value at a time when value wasn't necessarily
Mhm.
seen when people looked at her. And I think we do stand on the shoulders of people like that,
Yes.
who saw value and then spoke that value, and then we grabbed it and ran with it, you know.
Yes. And then I think we forget. So something hit me the other day. I was leafing through Facebook or something, and I saw that the IOC finally committed to banning transgenders in women's sports. And I thought, women have fought so long for a foothold in the sports arena to begin
Mhm.
with, and why this is even an issue. And it took the Olympic team, it took the IOC a minute to say, okay, guys, yes, we are going to stand strong on this point. And so they just passed it March 26th. So it was just a couple days
Yeah,
ago.
it
Just a
was.
couple days ago in 2026. That's mind blowing to me.
Mhm. I think that what's most mind-boggling about that is that you have women who have had the opportunity to excel in sports and for sports to become mainstream, more mainstream for women who don't support not having men in
Yeah,
women's sports. And
that's
that
right.
just blows my mind. But I think that speaks to the culture
Mhm.
we're living in and how it gets to you, because
Yes.
some of these women have just achieved so much they would not have achieved if they had been competing against men identifying as women. And so it's just it's interesting to me, how the culture plays a factor and how you see it. But yeah, it's about time.
Yeah,
for the
no,
entire
I
week.
agree. I agree with you because, and I think that's really one reason why I wanted to have this conversation, and I would imagine many are talking about it, I would hope. But if not, we need to talk about how important it is to celebrate womanhood. Um, Whether you are, all the aspects of womanhood. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that because it is important. And God forbid the culture allow any woman to forget that they are valuable, that God created us so. God created us to be, to be birth givers, to be nurturers, to be caregivers in whatever aspect, whether you have children or you don't have children, whether you want to work in the marketplace or in a STEM field or, be a teacher or be a homemaker, whatever the case is, that God has given us a place in society, and God forbid culture dictate what that should look like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love what you said, whether you are in the home or out of the home or children or no children. And I do think culture, in some ways, interesting, demonizes women who choose to be home
Mhm.
and raise their families, and sometimes demonize women who choose to have a career.
Yes.
So I think that's why it's important that you know who you are, and obviously you talk about that on this show, being bold and beautiful and purpose and all that, knowing what God has called you to do and doing it. Because if you're looking for the approval of all the voices, it'll be one thing one day from one group and something else from another group, and
Absolutely.
you'll be all messed up.
Yeah. And no one
Yeah.
can keep up with that.
No.
No one should try to keep up with all of those opinions and all of those mindsets that really go against the grain of what God created us to be, any
Yeah.
male or female. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And
Absolutely.
it's stressful, and pharmaceutical companies probably love that, but
Oh
that's a whole
my
nother
goodness.
show.
They're getting rich off of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother show. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I want to point out before we go into the conversation a little bit more, just some of the women who have been instrumental in our lives, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that. Let's see. I'm gonna share my screen, and this is. Let's see. This is just snagged some Facebook pictures. This is my my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, and they are in Africa. I believe this picture is in Kenya, and it could be Nigeria, but I believe it's Kenya. And they are missionaries. And so I have to say, her name is Nolia, and of course you know Nolia, and she
Yeah.
is one of the strongest people that I know, strongest women that I know. They've been married over 60 years. And she got married when she was very young, 18, I want to say. And growing up in the South, she's helped run businesses from um, airports, gas stations to farms and all kinds of things. Moved up to New York and just really helped establish the church that we both attended years ago, many years ago, and has been on the mission field in Asia and in Africa and really all over the world, which is so cool. But raised three beautiful children. One, of course, is my husband. And but she is quiet, she's meek and strong, and I love that. I love that about her. She loves everybody she meets. And gotta go over to this beautiful lady, next to this other beautiful lady that we all know and love. This is Aunt Elma. She is everybody's aunt, was everybody's aunt, and we are just so grateful to have known her. I'm so grateful to have been part of the family, and she just passed recently, for all of our viewers. And tell us a little bit about this picture.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say I know it looks like it, but I'm not wearing the same blouse. This
Sorry
is a
about that.
different blouse.
It is not. It is not.
That's
Yeah.
long sleeve. This is okay. First of all, because that's like your nightmare. You're like, oh my goodness, it's the same picture.
Let me cover up the date.
So no, I guess I like this color.
You
I
like the
guess
color.
I don't
The
know.
color likes you. So there you go.
Yes, thank you. This picture was actually at a book signing in New York, in Hudson, New York, at a library. I think I had just written, I've written two books of her quotations and illustrated books and of all the funny things my Aunt
So
Alma
sweet.
said, because she was hilarious. She,
Yes.
she just passed away the day after Christmas. But at this point, we've written the book, and everybody was interested in the book and meeting on Alma and all that. And so she came up to Hudson, New York, and together we had this book signing. But they really weren't there to see me; they were there to see Auntie.
Of course.
And so that's a very special, because I know that it was special for her. The book itself, I remember her telling me that I don't even care what's in the book. The fact that you love me enough to want to write a book about your auntie is what means a lot to me. And so my family was there as well. But yeah, we shared this moment, this book signing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. What made me to stop on this picture was that she was so supportive. Everything you did, she was, "Hey, Adrienne, how can I help you?" And that's what I remember about her. Like, just she was a rock for you
Yeah.
and for Mona and really and all your siblings. So, and I
Yeah.
thought, she is one of the biggest examples of greatest examples of how nurturing and supportive women are towards those they love. And
Yeah.
she is definitely a blessing. So I love this, and I could just hear her voice. And if those of you who do not have her book here, I can hold it up in my screen here. This is the second one on Emma
Mhm.
Unleashed, Old, Bold, and Out of Control, which I love this. I think one of my other children, I was looking for the first book. I think one of my children's had children have it. So I was like, where is that book? But I've
Yeah.
got the other one. We'll talk about Push Your Way to Purpose in a little bit. But so I thought
Mhm.
this was awesome. And then all our viewers here, let me just show you. This is a clip of my mom. She was taking a Bible class, and I'm gonna blow the screen up here. Let's see. Here we go. And so this is my mom, Mary Pinkney.
Mhm.
She's going to get it set.
I'm no longer a slave to sin. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to sin. I am a child of God. And no, I didn't come to sing, and I'm not a singer, but I can make a tune. And it's a good thing to make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Come before his presence with singing and thanksgiving in your heart. And that song resonated in my spirit as I was on my way here tonight. And because it relates to the title that I have for tonight. So let me introduce myself. I'm Evangelist Mary Pinkney from Harvest Church, Patterson, New Jersey, under the leadership of Bishop Dr. Edward Ramirez.
So I'm going to stop it there. She goes into a really good message. So if y'all are interested in checking out my mom on YouTube, it is Mary Pinkney, and she does give a great message on called "Whose Child Are You?" She's too much.
I love
Um,
your mom. I love your mom. You're both your parents, but she oozes just joy,
yes.
and she makes everybody else laugh too. Sometimes when she doesn't even mean to, right? Like my aunt Alma too. But your
Right,
mom
right.
is just she's so special. Yeah.
They are just there's so many golden moments. And I'm so thankful for these women in our lives who have, just taught us how to pray, taught
Yeah.
us that God is the most important person in our lives. Never forget that. And I'm so thankful for that. I remember we were in college, and I used to, live in my life however I wanted to live, which is, again, another story that I've told on this channel. So y'all make sure you tune in and catch some of those episodes. And I would call my mom up every week. I talked to her probably at least 4 or 5 times a week. I call her up, okay, mom, how much time do I have before, Jesus comes back? Because I was like, if he catches me right now, I'm in trouble. And she would just be, Kia, the Bible says no one knows the day or the hour. You just got to be ready. And I would like, well, let's reason this. What about, I mean, they do say that there is an opportunity somewhere. She said, but it's going to be so hard. I'm praying for you every day. There's no need to wait. No need to wait. Sweet as can be. I
Yeah.
love my mom. But I also and I missed my parents so much when we were in college, and I would call my mom all the time, and I'm like, Mom, I want to come home. She's like, nope. So I
Yeah.
love that these women, they're strong enough to tell us the truth, even if it's painful, even if it's something that we don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And and wise enough to know us, to tell us and teach us where to go when we needed help, who to
Mhm.
see, who to
Yeah.
seek, and how to
Yes.
pray, and to be honorable women.
Right. Yeah. No. And do it by example as
Yes.
well. Right. Not just lecture, although they could lecture too. And your mom can too, I'm sure. But to model not perfection for
Mhm.
sure, but something in them that said, okay, I can model that. I can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, with my Aunt Alma too, you talk about your mother-in-law being a strong woman. Same thing with my aunt. Like never got married,
Mhm.
came from the deep south, the tobacco fields, and
Right.
came and got her bachelor's degree and her master's degree, and helped to raise my siblings and me, of course. And it was so the one of the memories that I have that just stands out is that the year that I became a teacher was the same year she retired.
Mm.
So it's sort of like I've done my part, and
Yeah.
now you take it and run with it. So
Wow.
that was just really appropriate, it seemed.
Yeah. Okay. So you tell the story about how your aunt played a role in naming you, Adrienne, because you would be a teacher. Talk a little bit about how her speaking over you in different at different times in your life played, just a critical role in really what you do now.
Actually, it was my Aunt Mary who said that.
Oh, okay, Aunt
Her
Mary. Yes.
sister, these are my dad's sisters, but Aunt Alma still played a role in that because when I was born, my Aunt Mary, her older sister said, name her Adrienne because she's going to be a school teacher. What that has to do with being a school teacher, I'll never
I don't
know.
know.
But in her mind, it made sense. But it does apply to Aunt Alma because she too always said, you're going to be a teacher. You're going to be a teacher. And I'm like, I'm going to be an actress.
Right. Right.
Can't you tell the
Right.
drama? you know but she really, and part of that was because she uh when she was going back to school, as she was working full time as an adult, I am like fifth grade, sixth grade, and I'm editing her papers and things like that. And so she saw that gift in me,
Yes.
and that's what she wanted me to do. And she wasn't very encouraging of my other dream,
Mhm.
but she was right in that, not necessarily why she didn't want me to be an actress, but she was right because I do believe that that was what God had called me to do, to teach.
Mhm.
And though I'm no longer in the classroom, still teaching. But she saw that in me and she supported that. Even when I didn't want to be a teacher, even when you and I were in college
Right.
together at Brockport, my plan wasn't to be a teacher. My
Right.
major was English, but I didn't know what I was going to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But but when it was time, I worked 2 years, and then I started thinking about grad school, thinking about becoming a teacher because all the professors, and I would hear, you should be a teacher.
Right.
I do presentations. You should be a teacher. And so she really encouraged me to go back to school, get my master's, and go ahead and do that. So much of her and
Mhm.
my Aunt Mary, and of course, my mom would have been like, do whatever you want to do, but
Right.
the teaching part, so important, and then the writing part, they encouraged that gift in me as well. It all came together.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I always say I'm here, however good or bad that is, in large part because of her.
Well, and you still teach. I mean, from Maxwell, John Maxwell training to just the workshop that you did out at Merced College out in or Merced, is it Merced College, Merced University?
You, University of California, Merced. UC
Okay,
Merced.
UC
The
Merced.
keynote. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, out in California. And you're still teaching. So you're teaching even through your sports channel, just teaching about what those things, I mean, it's in you. And I think, and I'm just a plug for teachers because I think teachers are phenomenal. We play a phenomenal role, and not to toot our own horn, but we are instrumental in shaping the minds of the next generations. And it is probably one of the biggest blessings that outside of my own family that I've had the privilege to do and just the calling to do because it takes a lot. And though acting, we do have to act, we do have to, go to
Yes.
classes that
Yeah.
take so much drama and energy out of me. I'm like, dear Lord. but
No, no, for
not getting
real.
paid for it. But
Well, listen, I always said that. I soon learned as an English teacher that teaching great literature is acting.
yes,
You know, so I got the best of both worlds. Well, best of multiple worlds now, but
right.
the best of both worlds then. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I think been a phenomenal, it's been phenomenal to see all these kids, all these students that we've had growing up, getting to the professions. I'm seeing them on LinkedIn. I'm seeing them, they're becoming interns at these companies and getting positions all over the world, which is just amazing. I'm like, I played a role, hopefully it was a good one, a role in that person's
Yeah.
life. And that's a God-given calling. And we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to encourage those who are viewing, who are watching now, ladies, look, this is bold and beautiful. And the principle of this channel, of my channel, is to help you identify, help you see the pitfalls, help you see the areas where you have held yourself back, or you have not gained the confidence that you have, whatever profession you're in. God has called you to do, to be you, and to be phenomenal, and to be bold, and to be beautiful in that profession. It is a calling. So look back and say, God, what do you want me to do? Because whatever He wants you to do, He's already put the ability, the capability in you
Yes.
to do it. So we're talking about teaching, we're talking about communicating, we're talking about playing an instrumental role in people's lives that builds generations. I read just looking at some statistics about how many people, percentage of people who have children, and the culture that we're living in right now has been dictating to the percent to the to our young women that they don't need to have kids, don't have kids. That's the worst thing you can possibly do, and we're starting to see those things, that rate drop. But the percentage changes when women get into their 40s and even early 50s about wanting to have kids. So they're changing, their mindsets are changing a little bit. And what that tells me is this, is that there are too many young women that don't see their whole value in that. You don't have to have kids, obviously, right? But if that
I
is in
hope
your
not.
heart to do, right. If that is in your heart to do, then don't let somebody dictate to you that that's a bad idea. Okay? Because children are a blessing. Whether you are adopting, whether you are fostering a child, whether you are nurturing a child, honestly, all of our children, if you're a teacher, you got a lot of kids. If you're a missionary, my in-laws always say they've got a lot of kids. If
Yeah.
whatever role you're playing, you are a mentor to somebody. You are a
Right.
mentor to somebody. So, don't let culture dictate how instrumental and impactful you can be to other people.
Right. And I think what you're doing here when you talk about bold and beautiful and walking in your identity is, instead of just being impacted by the culture, that's what we want to do, especially as Christians. You want to impact the culture. You
Yes.
don't want to just be a product of the culture. We want to set the temperature when we walk into a room.
Yes.
And we do that in prayer, obviously, but we also do that in the way that we live and the lives we touch. And it's so important, you know.
Yes. I love
Mhm.
that. I love that. It's action, it's in practice and
Mhm.
modeling. And we've had some great, phenomenal women who have been part of our lives, in our close families, and then outside of our families as well.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
so it is.
absolutely.
Anything you want to add before we close out?
No, I think you did a good job highlighting the people close to us,
Mhm.
and then the people that maybe not in our family, but like you're talking about, going to work every day, working with these kids, knowing who you are, talking about the Sojourner Truths and the Harriet Tubmans, who in my bloodline, just got to put that out
Yes.
there.
Agreed.
But those who are far off and those who are near,
Yes.
they all impact. And then we take it and then we want to influence other people, and it becomes a continual thing that's pouring into the next and the next and the next. And I think that's one of the greatest honors of being a woman, of being a person of
True.
character, is that opportunity to sow into others what has been sown into you,
Absolutely.
like you
Absolutely.
do. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much. I'm
Thank
sorry to cut
you.
this short. I wish we could take
Yes,
all
okay.
day, but I know you're busy
Yeah,
and
we're busy women.
we are busy women. Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things that make women unique, as opposed to men, is that we have compartments and we multitask in all those apartments. And if people have a need, we make sure if we have the ability to do it, we can meet that need. It's in women. And
Yeah.
like I said, and I really feel strongly about the cultural
Mhm.
pressure to strip those things away from woman, from the
Yes.
woman. Okay, ladies, don't let them strip it away. Don't let them strip. God has given you so many abilities, so many skills, so many talents, and so many strengths. So many strengths. You haven't even touched them yet. But we'll learn more about that in Bold and Beautiful. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. But more than that, keep looking, watch out for the Bold and Beautiful Blueprint, Life Blueprint. It's coming out to a course near you.
All right. That's
Yeah, I'm
wonderful.
excited. I'm excited.
Thank you. Congratulations, Kia.
Thank you. Thank you. And look, I'm so excited for you. I'm praying for more and more speaking engagements all over the country. When you get ready to go overseas, I'm coming with you. Let's go to Paris. I don't know. We need to travel. Guys, listen, let's give it another plug real quick for the Adrienne Ross Show. It is dynamic. Make sure you sign up for that. And also, this is one of her greatest books, and it's worn because I go back to look at certain things in there. Push Your Way. Let me get my camera right. Push Your Way to Purpose. Phenomenal book about
Yeah.
just don't persevering. Don't give up. Persevere. And then, of course, on Alma, this is the 2.0. There's the first one. It is a red back, and one of my children have taken it from me. So, but make sure you go to her site. Adrienne, how do
Yes.
we find your products?
And listen, and the first book is called hashtag on Alma, raising a little hell, and then it's crossed out heaven on earth. So you
Yes,
might be able to put a picture in here when you edit this. Just put a
yes, yes,
picture
I
of that
will.
one in
I will.
there. But you can go to Amazon for those books. You can go to Barnes and Noble for the books. And so yeah, they're out there. But yeah, you can follow my work on my podcast, The Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect on YouTube. And then as Kia said, Adrienne Ross Squared on YouTube as well. I need to get busier on the second channel. And then I have a Substack, adrienneross.substack.com, where I do my writing and I'm on social media. I'm out there just doing wonderful things, wonderful
Yes.
things. I
No,
gotta
you
believe I
are.
am. Yeah.
You are, you are. Okay, what's the most exciting? Last thought. What's the most exciting about what you do? You've got two different venues here. You're speaking. What do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy speaking, but I'm speaking on the podcast as
Yes.
well. And
Good.
with the sports, it's not just sports, it's sports and culture. So it's what we're talking about right now. Sports are
Right.
a microcosm of society. So to be able to talk about that, I like that. I think most just running my mouth. I always have.
Love that. Love that. And I love you. Thank you so
Love you
much,
too,
guys.
Kia. I love you.
Oh, guys, thank you so much for joining me for Bold and Beautiful, where God's got you. Have a great week.
Bye bye.